Hello and welcome back to another episode of Umineko. We're back. Um, and
We're so
also
back.
we're so fucking back. And just to start this off, just a real quick apology for like how long it's been between uploads for me. Life, you know? Shit happens. All right, let's go.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Now the curtain finally rises on the first twilight. That Kinzo, I see he loves being flashy as usual. So even that man who can be more persistent than anything when he follows you around can shine so when on the stage.
Damn. Always killing in a grotesque way as usual. Smashing half their heads. The bad taste you witches and demons have always pisses me off. Smashing half their heads. I see. So, she's realized that, in games up until now, that's been the most ideal method of killing. Ideal? That's such a grotesque way of killing ideal! Ah! I forgot about it! I got jump scared by side boob. I'm trying to remember. Isn't it, though? I remember the very first game. You! So you're that new demon or whatever that just appeared. Damn, so does this mean that the witch's corrosion continued and there are now even more creeps wandering around?
She has nail polish.
She does! And also, just like, her entire side is out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pull up the full sprite if you go to the system.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Here we are.
There's only a ribbon.
There's only a ribbon keeping it together.
Yep.
Oh,
I really fuck with the pink shoes.
I do fuck with them.
The funky little heel.
Yeah, the funky little heel. I love it. I just love it. It looks like they messed up drawing her sprite. We've... Okay... Yes, okay, we've read that. The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rokkenjima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. This island has been closed off by the typhoon, so no human can leave it, much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more the corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. Now there might be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And the corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. I mean, what is she wearing? If the corrosion advances any further and even more weird people appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? It's so scary, I can't imagine. Seriously, give me a break. Don't make these weird guys increase in number anymore.
I can't do that. They'll keep increasing more and more. I'll defile the foolish close circle real humans speak of over and over again. Welcome to my elegant game, Gap.
It's been a long time, Rish. What? Have you been well?
Riche.
Or Nietzsche? Yeah, that makes more sense. I forgot this game was Japanese for a second. Why do I ask? You look great. Have you gotten younger? You look 200 or 300 years younger than when I last saw you. Ah, I see. The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced as Gap, took a glance at me, and then grinned as though she'd figure something out on her own. Smile felt openly obscene. I guess she's Beato's friend. Which means you gotta be a creep among creeps. By the way, they were saying something about a closed circle or whatever, but what does that mean? Serial murder mystery novels that occur in places isolated from the outside world, like Rokkenjima, are sometimes called closed circles. Ever watch Glass Onion? It's like that. Since such a place is isolated from the outside, it's like a circle that's closed. Therefore, in general, the characters and suspects are limited in number. Having new suspect candidates added on one after another from outside the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery novels. In other words, the witch is probably trying to desecrate humans and the mystery genre itself. You're Gretel! I see. You look like a wise kid. I love kids like you. Are we going down this route, really? Okay. Gab, I thought you were hot, but now you're being very weird. You taste so sweet and tantalizing. Gross. Keep the jokes to your clothing. Oh shit! It's Devilish Pretty's newest Jack the Ripper Christmas blood. Sorry for having a style that a country bumpkin from the human world couldn't understand, okay? At least we know it's well ventilated. Why don't you add a gap to the head part as well? Let a little air into your brain. Get her ass!
Guff is always sensitive to the fashions of the spirit world, but this year's fad truly is bold. I think I'll order one sometime.
For you, Nietzsche, I'd recommend Allie Gray, Alice, and the Graveyard. Okay. Let's go to 666 sometime soon to look at the clothes. You really should drop by the spirit world every now and then.
When this game is over, I'll be sure to do that.
Still, your two opponents are pretty cute, Nietzsche. It looks like this kid has figured out the meaning of the corpses with their heads half smashed. You know what that is, girl? Now she told me to remember the first game. What did that mean? Just what it sounds like. Remember the first twilight of the very first game, when the adults' corpses were found in the gardening shed with the magic circle drawn on it. Remember? Episode 1. First Twilight. Kraus, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died. At that time, there were 2 types of corpses. Some had their faces pulverized, and some had half their faces pulverized.
That's right. The ones with their faces smashed were Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, and Goda. The ones with the sides of their heads smashed were Kraus and Shannon. At the time, I ficklessly created 2 types of corpses, but I realized that the former, more atrocious type was actually disadvantageous for me.
Disadvantageous for you? I see. So that's what this is. Balor is just so Phoenix Wright coded. Extremely competent and extremely incompetent at the exact same time.
Yeah, I believe that was on purpose.
Like, it's like the tutorial. It's like the tutorial of Phoenix Wright where he's like, "What do you mean cross-examine the witness? What does that mean?" Like, what the fuck do you think it means?
I think there's a couple of characters that inspired him.
That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at that time, Uncle Kraus and Shannon-chan had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half of their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. But Dad and the other 3 were different. Because his face had been completely destroyed, even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be Dad because of his clothes and the like. In short, it remained vague until the end whether that really had been Dad's corpse. This reasoning battle had taken place during the first game as well. I'll probably claim that since the identities of dead and the rest of the bodies were impossible to confirm, there was a possibility that one was a fake corpse. After all, Beto didn't state anything in red during that game, because I didn't know she existed. Well done, correct. A fake death is one of the basics of the mystery genre. Even if you make a doctor examine... Oh, shit, fuck, oh god. Even if you make a doctor examine the corpse, you can't trust the results if you suspect him of being the culprit's accomplice. Therefore, corpses that can't guarantee a death for certain are always disadvantageous for the witch's side. You can suspect fake deaths for all corpses, hypothesizing that one or more of them is the culprit for the crimes that follow. It's a move Battler doesn't like, but it's the most elementary move to use against a witch. Yeah, that's right. That's why Beto started using the red. With the red truth, she can carry out a perfect autopsy.
That's how it is. Normally for the first Twilight, I would use the red truth right away, confirming the deaths of these 6. However, as you know, my battle strategy this time is the complete opposite of previous games, and I'll now use red truth starvation tactics. Since you use it as a grounding from which to counterattack, I will not use the red easily. I'll make you come apart at the seams by using red in just a single place, as rarely as possible. In the end, it means I will permit all rants regarding your guesswork and for all the closed rooms. And I only have to smash one of those once with the red truth.
Even though you've always teased me, once I start counterattacking, you now hold back inside your shell. Quit kidding around.
At any rate, I do not want to use the red. I want to be stingy. I want to bully Battler.
Oh my god, it's you.
But how could I guarantee a death for certain without using red? I worried and worried over it. Then, Gap gave me an idea. It truly is a simple method.
I just pointed out something obvious and you hit upon the idea, Riche. I simply said that you only had to create corpses whose identities could be distinguished and whose complete death would be understood.
In short, I put those two things together. The face, which is necessary to distinguish their identity, and the pulverization of the head, the vessel for the soul, which is the perfect symbol of death. When I put those two parts neatly together... wonderful. I came up with a perfect answer of corpses with their heads half smashed.
I bet you two love colored bread and... I bet you love 2-colored bread and 2-colored ice cream. You're just like a greedy kid. At any rate, even if half their heads are smashed, we shouldn't assume that they're dead at this point in time. I get it. Since Beto is trying to act tough and is refusing to say anything in red, we've got to suspect everything. Of course, I'm definitely not going to swallow the theory of magical mass murder by the Chester. Fuck, shit, god damn it! Shit, no! Swallow the theory of magical mass murder by the Chester Asne-sons. Why do you keep saying ass?
Because I guess they have their asses out.
I guess, but I feel like there's a better way to phrase it, you know? You know, let's take a look. They do have their ass out.
He also says that about the stakes.
That is true. Who also have their ass out. They're all wearing leotards. Or unitards? Is it Leo or Uno? Uni, whatever.
I don't know.
I'm guessing unitards. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Unitard. I was wrong, it's leotard. Also, I looked up unitard versus leotard, and the second one is 2 little girls. In leotard and unitards. I don't know why that's the second photo here. Why are there so many children? What the fuck? Okay, that's a weird rabbit hole I'm not going down.
Because they're common, for, like, kids dance.
I mean, yeah, but also just dance in general.
Yeah, but, I guess kids are one of the biggest markets because they outgrow them quickly.
Yeah, true.
And people are buying more of them.
Yeah, it's just I just don't like looking up something and then immediately seeing children.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You should have gotten more prudent. If this were the first game, you would have swallowed everything.
I wouldn't have anything less from a rival. Since there is fortunately no red now, he can imagine whatever he wants and reason over and over again as he likes. At the very end, at the very sweetest spot, I'll cut him down at once with the red truth.
Okay. I was like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Also, that was a weird place to cut it,
She
right?
loves making evil faces at him.
That was a very weird place to cut it, right? It felt like they had more to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, uh, silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit, and the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she had been sleeping on ice cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that, if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second, and end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make that mark disappear. But I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, tried to smooth it over. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light. But even if I looked up at the ceiling, or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter, patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. They also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, she stared in the direction the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint, approaching silhouette came into view. You killed me! It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Did. Hold on. Shit. Did Rosa die last time? Was she one of the ones that died?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh! Okay. I'm, I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgot.
I I also completely forgot about this scene and I remembered it just a couple minutes ago.
Oh, that's worrying. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart. Bullshit. Who do you? Ah! The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt the urge to slap him. She felt pain in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor, as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face. Are you alright? Does it still hurt? Thanks. I'm fine, little guy. Where are we? It's really cold. This is hell. That's right. I, Sakataro, went to hell canonically. Come this way. You mustn't stay here. That child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Also didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. Are they still in the meta world? I hope they are, and Rosa's just like, what the fuck is going on? But, oh, okay, yeah, I do remember Rosa dying, actually. It was right, I remember her saying, oh, so this one is gonna be about Rosa and her becoming the witch, and then she immediately died after.
I remember it was right after she tried. Did she try to hit Kenzo with a chair?
Yeah, she tried to by God him.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, a kind of unreal sensation. So even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance. My legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself. Are you okay? I'm sorry, my head hurts. I'd be shocked if it didn't. When the kid said that infantile word, Uryu, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. God damn! So I said so frankly. Sorry. Could you stop saying Uryu? Uryu! What did I just say? Wait a second, didn't I tell you to stop? Ah, sorry. I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. This child. I know there's no malice in him. But when I'm around this child, my head hurts. Are you okay? Let's go, quickly. You mustn't stay here. Why shouldn't I be here? Hey, where is this? Who are you? Where is your mama? The one who made me is you, Mama. Huh? That child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama. It's me? Who? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all. Did you forget about me? You made me, right? Please, stop kidding around. Maria's my only child. That's right. Where's Maria? Where is she? Maria? I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there, for once. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where's Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria's there for me. Maria's here, but she's not Maria now. It's better if you don't meet with her now. That's better for your sake and Maria's as well. For Maria's sake as well, escape. Huh? What are you saying? Where's Maria? Maria! Answer me! Maria's gonna find you! Come this way, quickly, Mama! That child pulled on my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria. So I stopped walking. Go! Just who are you? What gives you the right to call me Mama? Damn, Rosa! Mama is the one who made me. Did you forget? For Maria's birthday present. You made me with your own hands. Did you forget? You couldn't be Maria's Nakataro? Yes, the lion stuffed animal Mama made. Ah! A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there, and deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big that I could see through to the other side. Lydia! Are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong? Sakataro noticed my wound and panicked. far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury. But in my eyes, it felt like I'd been injured because he grabbed my hand. Regardless of whether there was malice in it, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie. Oh wait! You have nothing to do with me! Kitaro was just a disgusting, crappy stuffed animal, right? I don't know you. I'm not your mama. Come here. Slowly, the base of Sakutaro's neck. Oh no! Was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open and pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it. Only an empty blackness peeked out. God, you couldn't just kill him once. You had to do it again. Then, from the inside of the gash, cotton snow poured out. And as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. Then, all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth and bits of cotton that looked like sticky, crushed cotton candy. A lion. Stuffed animal. Without a doubt. These were the remains of the Sakutaro stuffed animal I tore apart on that day, while overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart.
Sakutaro, Sakutaro.
Like a flood from a broken dam, or like a broken TV, Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by emotions and went overboard. It was a mother's desire to kneel down right away, hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying. But Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly. And then, it burst. Oh god, where's it? After all, she refused to make up with me, even though I'd apologized and there was nothing else I could do now anyway, and it was all Maria's fault in the first place. Then she's too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this. She can't make any friends, and that's why people treat her like a freak. This is the perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. Oh. Everything eventually breaks, is stolen, is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers and sister and father and mother. But when I cried about that, well, I might have shed a few tears. Not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents. Throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick and make a racket. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did, so I always held it back. It's because I held it back that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now! Yeah, sure. At that moment, I felt something strange. The same feeling as when you use a tool recklessly, and it finally breaks so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool. I'd just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So I looked at my hands. From my wrists onwards, my hands had broken off, splintered, and disappeared. As though only that part of my arms had been ceramic. Oh shit. Yo, this goes hard. No. And so all of me from the wrists onwards had suddenly become ceramic and had broken and fallen. They must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look. Aren't both my wrists lying smashed by my feet? Yeah. There was no pain, but the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream. What is this? What is it? Hands! My hands! My hands! Yeah. Oh, fuck!
This way, you won't be able to hit me anymore.
Yeah, good for you, Maria. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head, where they had been defending against my barrage. What's happening? Yes, my hands! What did you do, Maria? What is this? What on earth is this? Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult. Who?
If she'd used those hands for patting her daughter's head, flipping through picture books, or making warm meals, it may have been worth leaving them on. Mama hit my head more than she patted it. She never opens picture books. She doesn't even make me food. I go to buy it myself. But I mustn't go to the same store more than once. Mustn't have my face remembered. Mustn't talk to the policeman. Why? Why is that? Is it my fault? Am I not allowed to have Mama pat my head, have picture books read to me, or eat dinner with Mama? Why not? Why not? I didn't do anything wrong. It isn't my fault, it's Mama's. Mama's fault. Mama wouldn't play with me, but Sakutaro did. He even read books, watched TV, and ate meals with me. He was a much better friend than Mama was.
I'm not proud of it. But what am I supposed to do? I'm busy with work. Work, I tell you! You know that, right? It was unavoidable. There's nothing I can do.
True enough, it was unavoidable. Unavoidable that you'd injure your daughter, tearing her heart apart and making her tears run with blood. In that case, there's no avoiding the same thing happening again, right here, right now. Come, Maria. Enough of the excuses from a woman who calls herself a mother. Can you forgive her or not? Is she innocent or guilty?
Just imagining Battler and Angie just like over in the corner.
I won't forgive her. Mama's guilty. I'll make Mama meet the same fate she gave to Sakutaro. Take Mama from the seam at the neck and tear her apart so that we can see the cotton inside her.
Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. Sans? In that instant, invisible, massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body made a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa had understood vaguely. The massive arms were probably her own arms, from the time she'd torn Sakutaro apart. From a stuffed animal perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. So she could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails stuck deep into the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. Then, as the two witches watched over her, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. And Sakutaro had been torn apart. Bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes. But in Rosa's case, something like black, thick tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red blood. Of the red of blood. It's something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside their body. Goddamn.
This is incredible. Hideous, with filthy insides. Splendidly done, Maria. Well then, is this enough for your revenge? Can you forgive your mother or not? Innocent or guilty? I can't forgive her. Still can't forgive her. She's guilty.
Beatrice brandished her pipe cane. Gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant.
Feel the depths of your sin, which cannot be repaid by a single human life. And remember your own great sin. Come, try and remember. Remember the scale of your sin. Hello? Is it Mama? When will you get home?
I'm sorry. I'm busy with work today, so I'm staying over.
Staying over for work again? Looks like work is tough for you again today, Mama.
Yeah, sorry. I really am busy. I'll be holed up in the company the whole time. I can't even get a breath of outside air. Mama just can't finish her job quickly this time. Unless I give them a better design, I won't be given another job. That's how tough this work is. So it'll just have to take some time.
Yeah, I understand. I'll be a good girl and watch over the house. So do your best at work. Finish it quickly and come back, okay?
Thank you for understanding about Mama's work. I promise I'll buy you a delicious cake tomorrow and take it home.
I don't need cake. Instead of taking time to go to the cake store, I'd be happier if you came home that much sooner.
Don't worry. I'll come back quickly, I promise. So let's have some delicious cake together. Goddamn, girl. Let's drink delicious tea together. Let's read a new picture book together. Let's play with that wolves and sheep puzzle I bought the other day. Both of us together. I promise.
Yeah, promise. I'll be waiting. Do your best at work, Mama. It's a lonely story, but isn't this mother-daughter love wonderful? With both looking out for the other? Do you see any problem with it, Maria, Rosa?
I kept that promise, didn't I? Didn't I do us a promise buying a cake and returning earlier than usual? Stay, did I?
That's not it. I knew. That evening, a pay-on-delivery package came from Mama, but there wasn't enough money in the wallet. So I called Mama's company to ask what to do. I was told only to call at special times. But I thought it'd be bad if the package was something important from Mama's work. So I called. Then I was told that Mama had the day off. I was told that it had been decided long ago that Mama would have that day off, and that she'd gone far away to play. I knew the whole time, I knew Mama was lying. But you know what? Sakutaro scolded me, saying that it wasn't true. Every day, Mama was very busy with work. There was no way she'd abandon Maria and play. He said that the person who told us Mama had the day off must have made some kind of mistake. That's what Sakutaro said. So I believed it. I believed it. I love Mama, love her. Of course, Mama says that she loves me. Loves me.
Yes, me too. I love you, Maria. Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then, she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out even more beautifully. On the table, in front of the terrace, was a very cold wine cooler. And the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below. You didn't tell your daughter you were on vacation? I told her once, but she was so noisy that I decided not to tell her anymore. It's less work that way. If you were worried about your daughter, you didn't have to force yourself to put this in your schedule, right? But that way, we'd never get our schedules to match. Didn't I say not to worry about that? The slender, middle-aged man clad in a white robe gave a small sigh. He's like, goddamn, you're a bad mother.
Yeah.
Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action. Come on, let's not talk about my daughter. Be a waste of this precious wine. I find you fascinating as both a woman and a human being. But for that very reason, I feel about taking so much of your time that it strains your relationship with your daughter. Don't I always tell you not to worry about my relationship with my daughter? I try not to talk about her when I'm alone with you, okay? I won't even have phone from here if it weren't for the noisy drunk laughing stupidly in the lobby downstairs. Rosa-san. Damn, they're fucking and he's still hitting her with the Rosa-san.
I didn't think about that. That's so funny.
Have you reconsidered taking sudden vacations like this in the future for your daughter's sake? Isn't it enough if we only met when our schedules match? Our schedules never match up that way, right? And I always want to be with you. That's a child's way of loving. Loving between adults should be a little more stoic. Not being able to be with you for long periods of time makes me lonely too. However, I think we enjoy more than enough adult loving during that limited time. So you're telling me to go be with my daughter more? Be a mother, not a woman? That's what you want too, right? You must also want to spend lots of time with your daughter. I won't run away. I'm trying to say that I think it's sad for you to sacrifice your daughter so you can prioritize your time with me. Damn, this guy kind of rules. Did you get back on her? Never mind, this guy doesn't rule. The moment I said that, are you fucking kidding me? Did you get back on good terms with your wife? Looks like you have enough being separated from her. I don't want to talk about my wife. Just like you don't want to talk about your daughter. I'm sure you think single women with children are a pain. I've never said any of the sort before. Whenever someone finds out I have a child, they desert me. Even if I tell them not to worry about paying that child's living expenses, they all desert me. I thought you understood about my daughter. But I guess you don't like single women with children after all. That's not what I'm saying. I love a good milk. I haven't started to dislike you, Rosa-san. I'm just trying to tell you to take better care of your daughter. Something I know you wish for yourself. And I don't want you to hurt yourself by lying to her. That's all I'm saying. Liar! I've just become a burden for you, right? That's not what I'm saying. No, I know. I understand. After being abandoned so many times because of that child, I know. I can tell by your mood. Yes, you're already like those other men. You don't want a woman with a child. You don't want a divorcee because that's a pain. You don't want to become the parent of a child made with another man, right? Yes, that's right. I totally get it. I was one of the men with children, so I really get how you feel. Alright. Why? I believed I'd be able to be together with you. A person who understood about my daughter. God! That's right. You were always, Jesus, always in the way. If only you didn't exist, I would have been able to grasp my happiness as a woman long ago. Because you exist, you were always in the way of my happiness. Even I didn't want you to be born. No, that's not it. I thought I might be able to build a happy family together with you. But that man disappeared right before your birth. He said he'd build a warm family with me, tricked me, and disappeared from my sight for all eternity. Only you were left. No love or memories or anything remained. Where did that man go? Probably just turned my days with him into a warm memory and met with a new love. And this time, he might have been able to create a happy family. And as for me, I have you! I can't even look for a new love. Men can go between women as they like and brag about it. But for a woman, for me, I have you! I had you as a stone weight. And because of you, I can't search for romance. I can't find love, and I can only live alone. God, clearly this is before the age where MILFs were appreciated. No, I wasn't even allowed that. I wasn't even allowed a night to drink myself drunk all alone. Who are you? Who? You wasted my life, and won't even let me have a new life. Just who are you to my life? Die. Disappear. I've hated you since the time you were born. I've hated you since the time you were in my womb. I've been doing my best to act like a good mother so I'd be accepted by the outside world. Yes, I've done my best. And I watched other women of my generation praise being single, sometimes playing with passion, or even join with someone in love. I was stuck being both a mother and a woman. Whoever showed appreciation for my efforts? No one admired me. No one praised me. I got what I deserved. Secondhand goods. Divorcees should die. Don't want anyone who's not a virgin. Alright. I'm the one who doesn't want anything to do with you, you damn inexperienced virgin brat! Who's so desperate, I probably looked like an easy to open you. Yes, I was desperate. You probably couldn't imagine how desperate a woman like me, who's still at the age where she wants to know love, was. When I realized that my time was being filled with work and caring for my child. So I'd probably grow old and end my life still like this. Of course I hate your real father too. But we both share the blame for bringing about that catastrophe. I myself might have been persistent enough to make him run away. But the catastrophes after that were all your fault. When did I ever scold you for that? Never, right? The day after one man left me, when I wanted to drink myself dead drunk, was Parents' Day at your school. When I tried to hide my tear-stained eyes with heavy makeup, the way I felt when you said something off the mark and the whole class laughed at you, is something that not only you, but probably everyone in the world couldn't understand. I hate you, loathe you. And until now, I've never really loved you even once. Ah! Alright. Maria's face was still stiff. If the words really had been blades, Maria's whole body would probably be stained with red with fresh blood by now. Even after gaining the power of a witch and resolving herself to take revenge for Sakutaro, she couldn't stand these curses coming out of her mother's mouth.
Ugly. How ugly is a woman drowning in lust?
Damn!
Now you see this woman's true nature. Even I, as a witch who has explored the depths of evil, find this most difficult to watch.
I'm fine with murder, but I draw the line at child abuse. Also, are we gonna ever see Rosa and Asmodeus interact?
I don't know.
Damn.
Maria, now is the time to part from her. Smash the ugly lump of meat that calls herself your mother. It would be pointless for your pure soul to be bound by the chains between mother and daughter any longer. With your own hand, release your own soul now.
Persona.
You have now gained the tooth and claw to protect yourself.
Ah!
Now you'll taste the pain I had to go through. Now I'll take revenge for those days of suffering.
Aren't you the one who's been hurting me? I'm the one who wants revenge. I should have done that before you were born. Only you hadn't been born. The bear! Ah! As Rosa howled in a way that can only be described by the word splat, her upper body was crushed. In an instant, came something similar to a wrung, blood-stained towel.
Be crushed. I can't forgive you. Can't forgive you. What filth. That form suits you.
Even though Rosa's waist and below was standing normally, just the upper half of her body had been pinched, and that extreme contrast was bizarre. Then, she fell over. But the instant she fell, her body was restored. You die.
Come, Maria. Is this the limit of your anger and sadness? Now is the time for revenge. Time for the settlement of anger and sadness. Hit her, spit it out. Push out all of the wedges driven into your chest and fling them back at her.
Maria's howl was adorned with the ugly sound of flesh and bone being crushed at the same time. As Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, laid spread eagle, a neat, perfect circle was cut out of her chest and crushed, as though her chest had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart and her lungs and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly they were completely indistinguishable. And Maya symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until today.
So, Maria, are you satisfied now? Can you forgive your mother for her sin? Or not? Innocent? Or guilty? I can't forgive her. Not yet, not yet. Mama's guilty, 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 guilty. Can't forgive her. Indeed, how could this level of punishment compare to the bitter days you suffered through? Know it, Rosa. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Revive in order to be killed. Be killed over and over so that your sins can be purified.
When Beato waved her cane, the body was restored again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently in apparent pain. And once again, he spat out curses rejecting Maria.
You aren't Mama. You're a witch tormenting me and Mama. I won't forgive you just because you look like Mama. I won't forgive you.
You're the witch, aren't you? Always reading creepy books and pretending to play with witches. You're the one who should disappear! Because of you, even I'm treated like a freak! Because of you! Because of you! If only you hadn't been born. Don't be born! I've hated you since before you were born! Maria screamed. Was she unable to bear her anger and sadness? Or else, had she been taken over by an undescribable emotion? It was surely a cry of hopelessness. And yet, it was a reality that had to be accepted. Maria knew. She knew that she was thought of as a burden. But even though she herself had known that, she didn't believe it. She believed that her mother loved her, and had done her best to positively interpret several events that could have made her doubt this. Trusting and clinging to her mother's love. But she had no one except Mama. Even so, she really did like Mama, and wanted to return to the days when she believed that Mama loved her. So I howled. I'll erase all of it. I won't accept it. I'll deny it. I'll deny the mother who says these things, the black witch who makes her say them, and the part of myself that can't forgive my mother. But I can't deny it. This is reality, fact, the truth, the anthem. Without any mistake, this is absolute reality. Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over and over in the dark world that reflected her heart. Rang the ugly sound of flesh and bone being torn apart, which would make anyone want to cover their ears. Each time, Beatrice revived Rosa. She dragged her back into the world of endless torture which could not be escaped from even by death. This was the true, deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will. Because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, he asked the same question to Maria.
Are you satisfied, Maria? Can your anger forgive your mother yet? How could I forgive her? How could I forgive her? I won't forgive her. I'll teach you all of my pain. Teach you much, much more. It's still not enough, not close to enough. Since I was born, since before I was born. I can't get rid of the anger and sadness of being neglected so long.
Hate you. Hate you. Revive over and over again. Return to a meat lump over and over again. In various ways, she crushed, smashed, beat, and tore to bits. Flying blood, splatter, and flesh turned the once pitch-black world into a world with mixed red and black. Maria's anger still hadn't calmed down. It was as though she was spitting out all the suppressed rage from the time of her birth until today. If that all became poison to her heart, then would the repeated murder of her mother purify her soul? Would even this wasteful murder save her soul at least a little bit? This endless torture might have become a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she'd finally been able to regain her smile.
Learn it. You, the source of my unhappiness. Learn it. Learn that what you're feeling is nothing compared to my pain. What's wrong? Why'd you stop laughing? Try and laugh. Oh, that's not me.
Half of her skull collapsed. Eyeballs flew out and black cranial fluid gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered.
Come on, revive. Try and laugh. Come on, come on.
Her whole chest, along with her ribs, turned inside out, exposing her filthy innards. All of them writhed like some kind of impure creature.
Come on, come on, come on. Revive. Can you still laugh? Can you still laugh?
Rosa couldn't laugh anymore. Her face was laughing. It was filled with a twisted laugh and covered with a malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I erased that laughing voice. Next, I'll erase that laughing face. I'll erase it, I'll crush it, I'll tear it to bits! Oh no.
Laugh. Try and laugh, Mama. What's wrong, Mama? Let's wake up, read a picture book, go take a walk. Let's say we love each other, make a promise for next Sunday. Let's go shopping, let's go to the movies. And of course, you'll break that promise. Isn't it fun, Mama? Isn't it fun, Mama? I'm playing with Mama right now, right? That's right, you're now playing with your mother, having fun with her. Tell me how you feel right now. I don't believe it's anger or sadness or pain. Yeah, that's right. I get it, bad teacher. I'm having a lot of fun now. I'm playing with Mama, so it's tons of fun. And even though I'm killing Mama over and over again, she can be revived with just a single bit of magic. I took care of my toys because I couldn't fix them if they broke. But if the toys could be fixed, I'd want to break it over and over again. But Sakutaro won't be fixed. He can't be fixed. Because Mama, who made him, Mama, who gave birth to him, won't acknowledge him. I wasn't acknowledged by Mama either, was I?
Oh god, she was about to have an existential crisis.
So the broken Mario won't be fixed either.
Oh.
It's fun, Mama. Since it's gotten so fun, I'm somehow starting to feel that I could forgive you. Hey, Beato, this is a very strange feeling. Why? Why am I starting to feel like I can forgive Mama? That enlightened state is only reached by witches who have gained the power to control life and death at will. You can kill at any time. You can revive her as needed. If that's a pain, then it's alright to kill her again. Once you've learned that you can do this at any time by simply snapping your fingers, all nonsense spoken in the world of humans becomes a chirping of insect that isn't worth listening to. You didn't begin to think about forgiving your mother because your eyes were open to your mother's love. It was because now You stand at the entrance to the world of true witches. Welcome, Maria, to the profound and sweet world of witches.
The world of witches sounds awful.
You've done it. Maria is no longer Maria. I may still be an apprentice, but I've surpassed the human world. I'm now the apprentice witch of origins, Maria. There's nothing to frustrate me, nothing to make me sad. Mama, I'll forgive you. I'm sure I can forgive you. I think I'll be able to forgive you after doing just a bit more. After all, I'm a witch.
Oh my god.
More, okay. Okay.
Still going.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Okay. Maria would probably forgive her mother eventually. After brutally murdering her countless times. Graciously. Well, that was heartbreaking. Whoa. That thunder was loud. Must have been pretty close, right? Oh, by the way, I think we're gonna start doing... I think we should start doing longer sessions, especially with this episode, since, as you said, it's
It's
like the longest one. So I think let's try and do longer sessions.
Okay.
Must have been pretty close, right? Looks like it. No matter how old you get, thunder still makes you jump. Fowler was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would shine, and he seemed to be enjoying it. I've lost my innocence. I'm ready to kill. Oh? Look, you were so noisy you woke Maria up. Sorry, Maria. Sorry Fowler's so freaking loud. What the hell? So it's my fault? Sorry, Maria. It's okay to go back to sleep. Good night. Maria was a bit hazy, with drowsy eyes. She was probably half asleep and couldn't think straight. I'm going to kill my mom.
It's okay. I won't sleep.
Nah, go ahead and sleep. You're still half asleep, aren't you?
I'm not half asleep.
It's okay. No, Kinzo's the culprit this time around. I thought Maria was gonna become the witch this time around. Come on, you're totally half asleep, aren't you? Sleep.
I'm not half asleep. Not half asleep.
Quit it, stupid battler. Jeez, what are you thinking? Your kid's just woken up into a bad mood.
I'm not half asleep. Not half asleep.
I'll fucking kill you! Whoa. Damn, Maria-chan, you aren't as asleep. Calm down.
Not half asleep. Not half asleep.
Maybe it was because of her delicate mental state after waking up. But Maria suddenly threw a child. Maybe it was because of her delicate mental state. Maybe it was because she just woke up from killing her mother over and over again. But Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Badler had only been trying to tease her a bit. So he was confused by this extreme overreaction. Poor child her head, trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't going to be quelled easily. Badler and Jessica were trying to push the blame on each other, saying, it's your fault too. Hey, be quiet, you two. Jessica-chan, there's still some hot water in the pot, right? Could you go make some tea for her? You calm down, Maria-chan? It looked like her tantrum was dying down bit by bit, but she still glared at Battler, who had made fun of her with sharp eyes. Battler-kun was just joking around, kidding around. He doesn't really think you're half asleep, so calm down, okay? Maria, where'd you get that knife? George noticed.
He doesn't even need a knife.
Maria was staring at Battler with incredible eyes. Why incredible? And, despite having just displayed all that emotion, she laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laugh, it seemed more like she was muttering while thinking about, or else counting, he. And so each time she said he, something brutal will happen over and over again. She's imagining killing Battler over and over again? George felt something creepy for just an instant, but he couldn't spot the madness that peeked out of the depths of the girl's eyes for just a moment. After a short period of stunned silence on George's part, Maria stopped her bizarre, quiet laugh and pushed George's arm aside as though telling him to let go.
Forgive him.
I just imagined killing him over and over again. I'll forgive him now.
New coping mechanism developed.
Well,
Until, it works until it's not enough to imagine it.
yeah, I was like, there could be worse coping mechanisms, but this one could lead to something worse. Haley? It's such a good girl, Maria. It's so nice to know that you're not actually secretly and completely murderous. That Raccoon, Maria-chan forgave you. Make up. Yeah, sorry for teasing you. Forgive me. Hey, Maria. Let's make cafe a lot. Cafe au lot. As a sign that you've made up. Look, it's been years since high school when I took French, okay? I can't expect me.
I'll let you guess.
I'll put in lots of sugar so it'll be sweet.
I don't need it,
I'd rather have Battler's blood.
but I'll forgive you. Because I'm a witch.
Damn, man, she must have had a weird dream. One more time, Maria laughed in a creepy, quiet voice. It was only for a very short time, so Battler and Jessica didn't think much of it. They decided to think that. It probably only looked that way when the lightning hit her cheek with a pale white light for an instant. At that time, they could hear the sound of loud footsteps coming from the hall. Yes! Everyone's dead! It was already about 10:30, late at night. Late at night is usually a time when you aren't supposed to be disturbed. Hearing footsteps like that at this time was far from calming. And then, along with a clearly ominous knock that repeated fiercely, they could hear Goda and Kumasawa's voices. That clearly told them that this was an abnormal situation.
Children, are you there? Are you there? It's Goda. It's Kumasawa. Is everyone okay? What has happened? What has happened?
When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. It looked like they had dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella. Some wild shit's going on! What's wrong, you two? Did something happen?
It was the master and Kurosawa and everyone.
Umineko no Koku ni. What's a rondo? Is that like a type of dance?
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. A musical form with a recurring leading theme. Alright, let's see what horrible Shit happens this time. It was a pitch black room. There were no windows, and with the weak light bulb, one could just barely make out the state of things around them. It appeared to be an old, forgotten underground storage room with some kind of dusty furniture haphazardly thrown into it.
Oh, this part.
The fucking dungeon? The dungeon? Oh, they have a dungeon? You'd think they'd bring up the fucking dungeon in previous episode. However, even with just a little light, one could at least make out that it probably wasn't a storage room. After all, that room was sealed off with iron bars.
Where is this? I don't know. Could this be underneath the mansion? Has there always been a room like this, directly underneath the dining hall?
They had dropped into what had appeared to be a pit, falling into this room. Therefore, it was natural to assume that this room was directly under the dining hall. However, not even Krauss could bring himself to believe that there were pitfalls rigged in his beloved dining hall where he had enjoyed his meals for years, and that this dungeon-like room lay directly beneath it.
Look, I think I voiced everyone in the dungeon.
No,
might need a
Nancho's
break.
here. My boy's Nancho's
Yeah,
here.
I think I've still been thinking about taking a little break.
Alright. You want to take a break now? I can probably do with some water.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back from our break. But the ceiling above was of crude stone craftsmanship. They couldn't understand how they could have fallen from somewhere up there. No, all 5 people who had been dropped here thought the same thing. Although they'd had the sensation of falling into a pit, there was no way there could be pitfalls in the dining room, nor could this dungeon-like place be directly under it. But the truth was they actually had fallen into this place and were locked in. Fuck yeah, they're locked in. So they were confused. It is lucky that no one was hurt after falling from such a height.
Shannon, Kanon, did either of you know about this room? No, we did not know of this room either. Really?
Damn, Kitty.
Really? I really don't know about a room like this.
Despite their age, Kyrie apparently wouldn't have found it odd if they, as servants allowed to wear the one-winged eagle, might know of the mansion's secret tricks. There was a long silence, as if Cross was evaluating their answer.
No, it's probably true that you don't know. After all, this is the clean freak Shannon we're talking about.
Damn!
She knew about this room, she'd probably scrub this place until it was sparkling. The filth of this room is proof that you two don't know of it. More importantly, I think we should worry about what to do next.
Exactly. We need to call the police, or rather, administer first aid as soon as possible. The people whose half their fucking head is missing? Nancho's words were all though.
Administer first aid to who? Like,
I mean,
to the people who are in the dining room in the mansion.
I mean, if first aid can save Natsuhi, in a heartbeat. Obviously, 6 people had been killed in the dining hall. Everybody had seen the exact moment when they'd been killed. And since half their heads had been destroyed, anyone could tell that the death had been instant with just a single glance. Everyone understood that first aid no longer held any meaning.
Thank you, Dr. Nanjo. We already understand that our partners are no longer alive. Thanks for trying to console us by mentioning first aid.
God damn, you guys are moving on fast.
Natsuhi.
Real. I get it. Once again, a gloomy silence dominated the atmosphere. but Kraus shook his head harshly over and over and, for the time being, decided to forget the pain of losing his wife and to dedicate himself to figuring out where they were.
Everyone, listen to me. Father is hopeless now. We've passed the point. Searching for a reason or an explanation that can be expressed in words.
Nobody answered. Without any kind of discussion or mercy, 6 people had been killed in an instant. And Kinzo had even been so bold as to proclaim that we'd become sacrifices for a ceremony involving 13 murders. Since we've been locked up in this place, we too will probably become the ceremony's next sacrifices soon. Around this time, our eyes became used to the darkness, and, bit by bit, we were able to understand more about the dungeon's interior. What we thought was furniture haphazardly left in the dungeon turned out not to be furniture at all. They were things like small cages to lock people in, restraints, or else torture racks. At any rate, it was obvious that it was eerier than a mere jail cell. But since the objects were rusted together and coated in thick dust, there was no doubt that they had been forgotten. Maybe you could even call these things Kinzo's sealed and forgotten madness. However, we had been locked away in this room. Those objects weren't exactly comforting to people who were locked up. Hoping to be released without harm. Okay, that was on me.
At any rate, let's get out of here. We've lost loved ones and friends. I would like to spend some time shedding tears. But more than that, I'm worried about the children. I wonder if the children are safe.
They're all older than you except for Maria.
All we can do is pray. Come to think of it, Kumasawa and Goda aren't here. I think, she means, like, the children of,
No, I know. It's just
before.
very funny to hear the
Yeah.
16-year-old refer to a 23-year-old that she wants to marry as children.
Perhaps they were able to get away safely.
You'll never know. We were relieved that they were able to meet up with the children.
When the going gets tough, Goda-san's reliable, and Kumasawa-san's knowledgeable and calm.
It hard cuts to the children, and Kumasawa is babbling, and Goda is curled up in a ball in the corner.
Michelle will be able to help the children. Oh, yeah. Yes, that would certainly be comforting.
Even Kraus doesn't believe it. Shannon and Kraus smiled bitterly a little. They quickly realized how improper that was and stopped clearing their throats. Dude, wait. Does Shannon and Kraus have a bit of a friendship?
Scroll up once.
Oh.
Wait, no, like, scroll up. Just, like, go back.
Like, which one?
Like, I want to read over their conversation a little.
He's like, perhaps they were able to get away safely, be a relief if they were able to meet up with the children. Going gets tough, Goda is reliable. And then Kraus is like, yes, that certainly would be comforting. And Shannon and Kraus smiled bitterly a little, but they quickly realized how improper that was and
Yeah, I
stopped.
don't know.
I'm gonna choose to believe that Kraus and Shannon have like a friendship of some sorts. Because it'd be funny.
It'd be so funny. We can't be optimistic, Nason. There's a chance they've already been attacked after we were. I agree. What Father carried out in the dining hall was the 6 murders of the first twilight from the witch's epitaph, right? Then the second twilight is to tear apart the 2 who are close.
Probably Kennen and Shannon.
We can't deny the possibility that Goda-san and Kumasawa-san may have been killed after escaping together.
Or those two, I guess.
We can't cling to the optimistic idea that they must have gotten to the guest house and are protecting the children.
Hide coldly analyzed the worst case scenario. God, she's a fucking bummer. For her, it was heartbreaking to have lost her beloved husband. But but she's choosing to think on the bright side of things. Battler might die soon. Oh my god! But right now, the most important thing was protecting that husband's son, along with the other children, from becoming the insane family head sacrifices. She only cares about Battler because it's Rudolph's son. Bullshit. She overcame her sadness with the parental urge to protect children from sorrow. It seemed that both Kyrie and Kraus were strong enough to forget about their grief, if only for the time being. They would let their tears flow later. In order to protect the children, they had to act.
Anyway, let's get out of here. It seems to be a rather old cell. Couldn't we break the bars with something? Let's try searching the entire room for some way to escape. I wonder if there are any torture tools lying around all these torture cages. They might be useful as weapons or to break the bars.
Well, you're well versed in how to use them, huh? Kyrie pulled a lighter from her pocket. She herself didn't spoke, but she kept one tucked away in her pocket to light Rudolph's cigarettes. We know this. It was an extremely valuable source of light for searching in this dim dungeon.
Shannon, help Kirie-san search the room. Kanon, you help me check out the bars.
Nanjo, you sit around with your thumb up your ass.
This is a very old cell. The bars could be loose.
What should I do?
Please just keep up your strength. Father will probably come soon. You're the only one whose words will reach him. In a way, you might be holding our lives in your hands.
And it's actually my words will no longer reach him, I think. I'm sorry, but I don't believe I will be of any use.
Then lend us your expertise as a doctor. I wonder if there exists a drug that can make people instantly faint.
Oh yeah, you don't know that? Miss grew up in a Yakuza family?
A drug that makes people instantly faint?
Also, chloroform.
Not instantly.
Okay. Yeah, you
It
would know
doesn't.
that.
It actually does. Yeah. It. Hey, what are you talking about? We believe we fell through a pit and landed in this dungeon. In that panic-stricken moment, that's what we believed had happened. But I measured the breadth of this room and came to a realization. This dungeon can't be underneath the dining hall. Why do you say that? You're an idiot, Nason. Compared to the dining hall, this dungeon is too cramped. Exactly. The first person to fall was Kraus Nissan. The second was myself. When you fell into this room, did you move from that spot, Kraus Nissan? It's embarrassing to say, but the landing hurt, and I lay there groaning in pain. Immediately after that, Kirie-san came crashing down next to me. The distance between where we were standing and the places where we landed is clearly off.
Certainly, when you put it that way. I was in Nexa Falls, so I remember fairly well where you two were standing. The distance between you two and the dining hall might have been greater than this entire room.
We fell into a pit and directly dropped down here. It's not like we fell into multiple interlocking pipes and we're all collected here. The fall was instant, wasn't it? I don't remember rolling around in some sort of elaborate water pipe system. True, we can't explain it with a pitfall. What a strange tale.
Kraus looks so pathetic with that sprite.
What does that have to do with the drug that makes people instantly faint? Like Kirie-sama was talking about? Kirie-sama's probably thinking that there were no pitfalls in the dining hall, correct? But in reality, we did fall. More accurately, we felt as though we fell into pits. That was only natural. After all, we experienced something that couldn't be described any other way.
I see. In other words, this is what you want to say. We did not fall into pit. We were attacked with something like a blow dart, for example, and lost consciousness instantly. It could be that we just remember the instant we fell to the floor as though we were falling through a pit.
I see. That's a much more persuasive argument than there being numerous pitfalls in the dining hall that we've never noticed, even after decades eating there.
Kraus sitting at the table with Jessica and Natsuya. Honey, is that pitfall always there?
Nissan, do you have a watch? Huh? Yes. I have a pocket watch. It's about 22:40.
Why does she look so...
That's 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, 10:40 p.m.
10:40. Yeah.
I use military time. Why is she so proud about the fact that she has a pocket watch?
Yes. My watch says the same. In short, it's only been a bit more than 10 minutes since that uproar in the dining hall at most. My watch has the same time. It's a much too short a time to knock us out and carry us somewhere. Judging only from the time, it's reasonable to assume that we did fall through a hole leading directly underneath the dining hall. They could have tampered with the watch hands as much as they wanted. While we were passed out, they may have got everyone's watches back. We're incapable of proving that this possibility doesn't exist.
Kid, we've just been kidnapped. Do you really want to do devil's proof? Sorry, I'm like getting tangled up with a bunch of wires.
Whether it was a pitfall or a drug that induces fainting, it does not change the fact that we need to be on guard.
Well then, Dr. Nanjo, is there a drug that can do that?
Well, it's the same as your reasoning, Kirie-san. I cannot prove that there isn't a drug with that effect that I don't know about.
As they say, you can never be too careful. Sorry, it was a useless question. I just thought that with my hypothesis, I could suggest that this dungeon might not necessarily be directly underneath the dining hall.
Do we really need to know where this dungeon is? We just need to know where the fuck how to leave.
I see. There's always the possibility that we were carried off to the hidden mansion they say Father built in the middle of the forest. If we can escape from here and get outside, then we'll know. We'll save worrying about that until after we get out. Exactly. I'm truly sorry. I've only been asking about and prying into useless things. No, it's quite promising. If you notice anything else, please tell us. It might become a hint to escaping from here. Rudolph was always talking about you. He said he was always surprised by your ideas, and they would sometimes give him valuable hints. The fact that you're here is a blessing within a tragedy. Thank you. I heard something from Rudolph-san as well.
That you're just a big bitch.
He said that you usually just swagger about, but when things get serious, you overflow with a sense of responsibility and can be a very dependable older brother. That's too kind. I mean, I'm sure she's heard a lot of worse things, but
Trying to stay on his good side.
you know, yeah, I doubt she'd mention them at a time like this. In front of everyone. Damn it, at any rate, these iron bars won't even budge. How are things on your end, Kanon? No, this side is no better.
What, you don't got your fucking magic serpent energy sword thing? Krauss and Cannon tried wiggling the bars in various ways. There were a few bars that could be twisted, and a few had enough space to rattle a little bit around in. But they couldn't be broken with human strength alone. However, there was still hope that they could use some kind of lever-like tool. It was still far too early to give up yet. The children's lives were hanging in the balance. Even if there was no hope, they couldn't stop their struggle. It was better for them to act this way. If they were to stop, there's no doubt they'd once again be overcome by the grief of losing their loved ones and curl up, clutching their knees. Meanwhile, the children were overcome with grief over losing their loved ones.
How are you doing, Kirie-san? Find anything? I found some small stones that we could hold on to and hide. Something like this could probably be used as a weapon. Though it'd probably be impossible to whittle down those iron bars with them. How about you, Shannon-chan?
I found the key to escape.
No, nothing.
Are you fucking sure? Okay, hold on. First of all, that nipple is just fully out. I don't know. What's with this game and making sure things have nipples? But also, chair, you can probably break off one of the legs on and use it as a lever. There's a phone there that you can. Yeah, there's a phone, which probably isn't connected to anything, but you can definitely take it apart and use something in there as a lever. Or hell, you can fucking use the wire as a garrote or whatever.
On who?
I don't. Whoever comes in and they're just like, all right, time to fucking choke them out.
Yeah, if anyone comes in.
Wait. Oh my god, there's a pottery that you can break and then boom, you have a sharp shard. Like, I just, Shannon, I think you're blind.
This is...
I can't get over the fact that the nipples is barely in frame. Like, yeah, like they had to make sure.
You think about things I've never began to consider before.
What, you never began to consider that there's a nipple in the bottom left-hand corner of this arc?
I just read the VN. This is a phone. I doubt it's connected, but we might be able to use the cord as some form of string-based weapon.
Hell yeah, Kirie, on the same page.
I'm always saying I think I think that she's constantly like in situations she's like in a new situation she's always thinking about every way she can kill someone.
Oh my, she'd
to calm
love
herself down.
RIP Kirie, you would have loved the Hitman games.
For real. If we break it, we could take out the metal parts.
I can't believe I called out Shannon, and then immediately Kirie said everything. Watch, she's gonna point out the nipple on the statue.
Krosny-san, there's a keyhole for opening the bars, right? Well, this isn't the original. Like,
No, I
these
know.
backgrounds
I
are
know.
not. Yeah. Yes, it's a pretty large hole, quite old-fashioned. If we twist some wire into it, we might just be able to pick it. We might be able to use the metal parts of the phone as a substitute for something. This phone will become our weapon. It's just like investing. Our weapon is information.
Yeah, sure, Kraus.
And literally, it's just like investing.
Kraus and Kirie laughed together at how they hadn't even thought of using the phone as a means of communication.
What are you doing, Nason? Uh, um, I just wondered if maybe the phone was working. You dummy, Nason.
Whisper.
Huh? What?
At that point, Shannon let out a small surprised cry.
Kiryu-sama, this phone, it's connected. What did you say?
Why the fuck is it connected? It was like when people move out of an office, taking everything with them, leaving only the telephone behind. That's the feeling the phone gave off, having been left in the corner of the cell. The cord was wound into a coil, the tip of it being swallowed by the wall. And just looking at it, there was no reason to assume that it wasn't hooked up. But to think that it was actually was. Kirie took the receiver from Shannon and pressed it to her ear. In the electric home of the phone why is this was a familiar sound? And this phone was certainly live.
What good luck? God damn. Let's contact the police.
This is too good to be true. Could it be bugged? If they were planning a trick like that, normally they would cut the telephone line. There's actually a good possibility that they overlooked this.
Kirie, there's no fucking way.
If they notice, they might actually cut the line this time. There's nothing we could tell the police that would be problematic for us if they overheard.
Surely that was true. The point of a wiretap is to overhear some important piece of information. But the way things were right then, she couldn't think of a single thing that would come up in a conversation to the outside world that might be troublesome to have overheard. Kirie instantly concluded that it was more likely to be a mistake on Kento's part than a trap.
You do have a point. I believe you start with O to make calls through the external.
Kanon-kun, I'm going to make a phone call, so will you watch how things are out there for me?
Look at Ken and he's like, God damn it, I made fun of Shannon for nothing.
If you sense somebody coming, let me know. Yes.
Cannon raced off towards the iron bars, enlisted breathing, and strained his ears. As everyone present watched her, Kirie dialed 110. However, she pushed the hook down and redialed many times. It didn't seem to be working very well.
The outside line begins with 0. 110 would be 0110 then, right? It doesn't seem to want to go through. And over here, I'll try to call.
Cross took the receiver in Kirie's place and tested various things. But in the end, they were unable to notify the police. The phone itself was definitely live, but the circuit was apparently cut somewhere. Does this mean that they were not so naive? Try calling somewhere else on the island.
So it's useless after all.
You're not Battler.
It means our enemy. It means our enemies aren't naive either.
Kirie let out a deep sigh, leaned against the wall, and hung her head for a while. As cool thinking as she was, for a brief moment, she may actually have had the naive hope that the phone might actually work. She sneered at herself mockingly for holding on to that naive hope for even a single moment. Then, she remembered just what was happening here. Truth be told, even after being shown a scene like that right before her eyes, or rather exactly because of that, she still couldn't think of that gruesome mass murder as something real. It was less that she couldn't believe it, and more that she didn't want to. Ushiromiya Kinzo killed 6 family members. He summoned strange, witch-like, demon-like people. Right out of thin air. And with something like magic, began to kill people one after another. It's just also screwed up. Even though she definitely saw it, there was no way she could accept that spectacle.
There's no way that's what happened. Those were obviously father's friends or something.
And as we all know, Kinzo is a hit with hot young women.
They just hid somewhere in the dining hall beforehand and used some tricks to appear suddenly and fool us. There's no other way to explain something as screwed up as that.
But when those 6 had their heads blown apart, a golden arrow had flown around and around the room. It truly looked like magic. Was that another thing we just saw wrong? There's no way it was magic. It was definitely some kind of setup. Since those heads were smashed, there's no doubt what the fuck is going on. It was some kind of explosive. For example, a styrene toy plane like they sell at candy stores painted gold, and with a powerful explosion loaded onto the end of it. However,
Okay.
though it seemed to be flying at random, I couldn't imagine that after being fired 6 times, each had perfectly hit the victim square in the head, one after the other. It couldn't be that there was a computer control system for finding and hitting targets, making a high-tech styrene plane on the same level as a guided missile, right?
Would he invest such a large amount of money into developing some stupid trick like that? For that insane sideshow? Does this take us back to the old I wouldn't put it past father?
A number of mysterious people appeared out of thin air. 6 people had their heads demolished by a mysterious golden flying object. And the 5 of us were locked away in a mysterious dungeon by a mysterious set of pitfalls, or else put to sleep by some fainting poison dart. The family conference had started a bit after 10. It's only been a bit more than 30 minutes since then. Most likely, even though I witnessed it myself, that event took place in such a short period of time, so I still can't understand it, and I still can't come to grips with it. For argument's sake, even if we did get a hold of the police, it would probably be impossible for anyone to accurately explain what we saw. I don't think you need to accurately explain what you saw. You could just say, hey, 6 people are dead, we need cops here, stat. Even though I saw it just now, my brain's fried and I have no confidence in what I saw myself. Gide tried her hardest to cheer herself out of her overwhelming confusion, to just hold on to her sanity.
Damn it, what's going on here? Damn it, damn it.
Kraus started to become desperate, hitting the hook multiple times and resetting the dial. Kraus had also been feigning composure, but he was unable to hide his panic. The more he retried the dial, the more the pretense of serenity peeled away. I don't know what's going on anymore. Gide couldn't help but pray that the events that had just occurred were a dream. At that time, the look on Kraus's face changed.
Oh, I got through, I got through. It's ringing.
Really, Kraus-san?
I see. How shallow, old man. Since we can't contact the police, the external line has probably been cut, but he failed to sever the internal line. The internal line? Kraus-san, where did you call? The guest house. I'm calling the room where Jessica and the rest are staying. Ah. Hello? Hello. It's me. You're... Goda? Is Jessica there? Is she safe?
And the others too, I guess.
Hold on, I did sip of water.
Alright.
Middle-aged man yaoi. Kraus-sama, I'm so glad you're safe. Yes, Lady Jessica and the other children are here as well, safe and unharmed.
Well, Maria looks like she's kind of going insane, but that's beside the point. Dad! Is it Dad? I'm so glad you're okay. Is Mom okay? Ooh.
Well...
About that. Did they not tell her? Is he there?
You're...
Kraus choked on his words. Would too. Kraus had clearly seen Natsuhi's head crush, had seen her killed right before his eyes. Eventually, he was going to have to tell that to Jessica. However, Kraus began to fret over whether he should tell her now or not, and lost his words. But even that wasn't an answer under these circumstances.
I don't know about your mother. Let's pray for her safety. For now, I'm just glad you're safe.
Yeah, I understand. I'm sorry for asking. Jessica's voice was filled with tears. Cross was certain now. Jessica and the Reds had heard everything, start to finish, after meeting up with Goda and Kumasawa at the guest house. When they learned that 6 people had been killed, they must have been anxious to rush over to the dining hall. Luckily, he'd been able to call before they stormed off towards the mansion. Cross was relieved at this good timing during such a tragedy.
We have Kirie-san and Dr. Nanjo, as well as Shannon and Kun here. We've been locked in a place that's like a dungeon, but don't worry.
Meaning you could probably guess who the other 6 died.
We'll figure something out.
A dungeon? Where? We'll come and save you.
Unfortunately, we can't figure out where this is either. We think it might maybe under the dining hall, but that might not be true. Anyway, Jessica, you must stay where you are. You've heard about what happened from Goda and Kumasawa, yes?
Yeah? Grandfather... everyone.
Grandfather isn't in a sane state of mind right now. If you encounter him, you'll be in danger. You might be killed. You mustn't even think about trying to come and save us. We'll take care of ourselves.
Then what should we do? Damn you, Grandfather! How dare you do that to Mom and the rest? I'm gonna kill that undying bastard! You're so real, Jessica.
Jessica, if you talk like that, you'll sadden your mother. Those aren't the words of a lady. Anyway, put your own safety first. Lock all the guest house doors. But you mustn't overestimate how safe that will make you. The large window in the first floor lounge might get broken. Stay in your room and use the bed to make a barricade. There's a toilet and fridge in there too, right? You should be able to stay holed up until tomorrow morning. Listen up, I'll say it again. Don't think of doing anything violent. Don't even think about trying to take revenge from Mom. Only think of hiding, getting through this without provoking your enemies.
Yeah. I understand, Dad. After that, Goda took the phone, and was firmly told to supervise the kids well as an adult. Goda, with his face covered in a cold sweat, repeatedly replied, yes sir, in an excessively tense voice. From there, Kirie took the receiver and spoke with Battler, and when Shannon and Cam got their turns, George and Jessica answered. Following that pattern, Nando and Kumasawa picked up as well. Nando's like, hey Kumasawa, how you doing? Confirming that everyone is safe for now, even if their location was unknown, and encouraging each other, coming to an understanding on the current situation for both sides. They wanted to talk forever, but now is not the time to chat. Cross explained that they would be hanging up for now, and those in the guest house consented.
If anything happens, we'll call. Wait by the phone so you can pick it up quickly. Again, be careful. You mustn't do anything rash.
Yeah, I understand. As long as you and Ken and Kun and the others are okay, that's good enough for me. We'll do our best. Stay safe.
Yes, of course. Well then, I'm hanging up for now. Be on your guard.
With that, the phone call ended. Well, that was productive. Goda and the rest of the men quickly descended to the first floor, closed the shutters, and secured the sturdy locks on the doors.
I'm thinking maybe we should pause for now.
You think?
Yeah.
Alright, I guess that's where we're gonna end it.
Maybe.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Well, here, we'll end it for now.
Okay.
Save. Why is it? It's a fucking visual novel. Why does it take forever to do everything?
I don't know.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Umineko. That was really fun. That had a lot of twists and turns. For example, Maria going insane.
I I don't. I thought the part with Kirie on the phone with Battler would be. I thought would be the part with Kirie on the phone with Battler. I was hoping we'd read that, but I don't know. I
Me,
guess it might not be happening
me
yet.
too. I was like, I need to see what these two talk about.
I think it's in there. I'm pretty
Hopefully.
sure it's in there. Because I remember it. I remember it from the manga. And it was, and from reading it, of course. Uh, and you know, I think I. Well, you'll see.
All right. I hope you'll join us next time. Bye for now.